Well, today we're going to look at the inverse of a relation, which is the last portion of the first chapter of work here. And it is going to be similar to what we've done so far, but with a slight change. So to start off, I would just like us to deal with this line, which is y equals 2x minus 6, which looks like this. And you can see it's got a positive slope of 2, a y-intercept of minus 6. And we're going to change this function. And if I were to map that change, it would look like this. We are going to change the x and the y values around. We're going to switch them, and that's what an inverse is. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to move 6 to the other side, and then we're going to divide both sides by 2. And then the last step, to make this the equation of the inverse, we then switch x and y around. So we have a new equation with y equals, and it's the inverse of our original function. So this was our original, and now we have an inverse. And what's the graph going to look like? So let's go ahead and look at that. Oops, let's get rid of both. So it's still a line, and you can see if we were to rearrange the green function here, that the slope would be a half, and the y-intercept would be minus 3. The question is, how are they related? And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a pen here and make it a little bit skinnier, make it a different color. Okay, and we're going to plot these points for the green graph, or the green function, on the yellow. So we have the point 0 and minus 3, that's right here. And then another point to make a straight line, so I'll use this x-intercept at 6 and 0. And I'll connect them with a straight line. So, what's the significance? Well, let's take some points and start labeling them. And again, I'm just going to use this pen tool to help me out here. I've got a point here at, that looks like 6 and 6. Right? What would be the reciprocal, or the inverse of 6 and 6? Is that right? Have I done everything correct? Something is wrong. Hold on a second. I'm going to rewrite this equation and get rid of this, because I know that that graph is incorrect. I'm going to delete you. I'm going to delete you. Sorry about this. Just be patient with me. I'm going to stop the video here for a second and fix this. Okay, I figured out my mistake. You can see it's right here. I should have added 6 to both sides instead of subtracting it. So now my new equation is 1/2 x plus 3. I should probably fix these over here too. Those should have been a plus right there and a plus there. So dumb math there. So I'm going to again graph this graph. I've got a point here and a point here. I'm going to move that over to here. So that's at 3 and at minus 6, and connect the dots. Now the reason I knew there was a mistake automatically is because I knew that there should have been reflected points. So for instance, the point 6 and 6, if we switch x and y, it's still 6 and 6. If I have the point 3 and 0, that should become 0 and 3. If I have the point 0 and minus 6, that should become minus 6 and 0. They just switch spots. And if I just put points at 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, etc., all the way up, we see that there's going to be some symmetry here. In grade 9, we would call this an oblique line of symmetry. It is not vertical, it's not horizontal, it's oblique. And this line is the line y equals x. And all graphs of the inverse of a function are simply reflections over that line. And so when you get graphing in your assignment, you're going to use that line as a tool to help you graph the inverse, although you don't need it because you're just switching points, but it will help you, especially with the parabolas and such. So we're going to answer some important questions when we get to class together. First of all, we're going to look at is the inverse of a function a function? And related to that, what is the horizontal line test? Because those two things are related. You can probably guess what that is. We're also going to talk about domain and range, how they compare, and we're going to write, how do you write down the inverse? So we're going to go over all those things together, but hopefully this has helped you get a gist or a start. And I will see you in class. Bye-bye. Bye.